Hello class. Today we are going to go over the steps on creating a chimera in the Chimera project. This project is the one that should be a little bit of fun. You're going to create a creature, a mythical creature, which is called a chimera. We're going to create this one out of animals. I'm using pets. So I'm going to show you my example, which I created this creature down here that I call the chugfish. So I'm going to show you the directions on how I created the chugfish. They are right here. If you click on the project, it will open it for you, and you can follow along on this. Slowly loading. Maybe if I open it here, it's faster. Wow, I've been having a problem with this being really slow. Here we go. This is your project. You can read through and see examples. Down here I have student examples, which are great. And these are your directions for how to use Pixlr. I'm going to go through these steps for you and show you some tricks on how to make it look a little bit better so it doesn't look like you cut out pictures and pasted them together. So we're going to start with going to Pixlr.com. Like we always do, we're going to use Editor. And what you're going to do is you're going to open your image. Okay, so the first step of this project is to take a bunch of pictures of pets or animals if you can get any. If you don't have pets or animals around you that you can take pictures of, please contact me. We can come up with different ideas, like possibly machines and people that you can combine. The basic instructions will be the same, so you'll just figure out what you're going to use to take pictures. Take several good pictures. Try to have a plain background. It makes it easier for you to combine them. Alright, so I've already opened over here actually a couple pictures in Pixlr. I'm going to use Crystal the chicken again, my nephew's chicken. And I'm going to combine Crystal the chicken with my dog Oliver the pug to start. Okay, so I decided to use Crystal as my base photo. Maybe not the best one, it doesn't show a lot of the chicken's body, but I'm just going to show it to you. I don't have a lot of pet pictures. So I'm going to actually start with cutting out Oliver's head. Poor Oliver. Let me get him up here. I'm going to select the area that I want to cut out and make it a little bit easier. There are other ways to do this. You can just combine layers. You could just cut and paste this layer and erase. I'm going to show you one way. There are several ways to do this, but I'm going to just use the selection tool with the lasso. I'm just going to kind of sloppily go along and cut his head out. Whoops. I'm going to back up. Oh, I made a mistake. Let's undo that. I accidentally cut him all the way off down here. Let's just come down underneath. Try again. And once I connect, it should, there we go. Whoops. Wow, just kidding. Having trouble with this first step. Should not be this hard. Okay, finally. And then I'm going to go to Edit, Copy. So I selected. And I copy. You could just use a little simple square too, if you're trying to be fancy like me. I'm actually done with Oliver, so we can say goodbye. I don't need you anymore. I don't want to save those changes. Now on Crystal, I'm going to paste Oliver's head. And when I did this before, it was way huge. It's a little scary. So I'm going to show you how to adjust that. It's terrifying, isn't it? Look at that. Okay, so we have, obviously the first thing I'm going to do is going to shrink it down to fit. Crystal the chicken is a much smaller photo than the one I took of Oliver, which is why that happened. Yours probably won't happen like that if you take your pictures all the same size. If it does happen, you go to Edit, Free Transform, like I just did, and we're just going to shrink him down way more. And I'm going to put him around here, maybe a little smaller. Okay, another thing I can do before I decide I'm done is I can also rotate so that he fits a little bit better on where I'm trying to place him. I'm going to make his head on top of the chicken. Something like that. I can adjust it again later if I need to, but I'm going to go, yes, I'm fine with that. Okay, so we have a couple problems. First of all, you can see all this part where I cut out. We got to erase that and make that look a lot better. You can also see Crystal's beak poking out under here. Okay, so we will deal with this later. I'm going to deal with erasing first around Oliver's head. So I'm going to zoom in. So I chose the magnifier. I'm going to zoom in. And this is the part that this project's going to take you a while. The slower you do, the more careful attention to detail you will have a better image. Just be real careful with this. All right, so I'm going to use my magic wand tool to try to select a large area first to erase. And grab my eraser. I'm kind of using a soft eraser. It works a little bit better. And I select it so I can be sloppy when I erase next to his head. I'm not going to erase him. So I'm going to get this background area out of there. It's not going to be perfect. Like that area there I'm going to have to come back in for. But it's a good start. Over here I can come get this. Okay. Then I'm going to select another area down here that I didn't quite get. Okay. And so on. Until I can do a good job of making sure Oliver blends in better. Let's choose this. Okay, I'm going to come back and clean this up later and give you a better idea what it looks like. You can see up here you kind of have some over spray, it almost looks like. You can get rid of your selection and just, once I've already erased close to his head, I'm not that worried about erasing, so now I can just kind of come in here and clean this up, which you'll do. Okay, it still looks kind of terrible and pasted on if you ask me. So I'm going to use my eraser tool as like the airbrush. I like these. They're nice and soft, and it will help you make a blended erase, if that makes sense. I'm going to lower the opacity so it's not too harsh. Let's go down to about 60%. And then I'm going to come kind of next to this area and blend it in. So it's a little bit softer. It's not great, but it's better than just a straight eraser. It blends it in just a little bit better. Okay, I also want to be able to clean up these edges that I can see right here. If I decide while I'm working that I don't like the size of his head, it's a little bit small, I can always go back to where I was with free transform and make his head a little bit bigger so it fits on a little bit better. And adjust the angle too. You just come up in the corner and just rotate it a little bit. Okay, this is not bad as a start. If I would come back in and clean this up better. But I have a problem with Crystal's beak poking out over here, so what I'd like to do is erase this background. But I don't need to erase all of it, just the part where it's showing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my background. I'm on my top layer, which is the pasted layer. I need to select my background. It's important. Select your background, and I'm going to erase just Crystal's area back here, but not really erase it. What I'm going to do is fill in with this green, the grass. So I'm going to select with my stamp tool. That's what I'm going to use. I'm going to select this area here. I can do a big giant area because I don't, let me get it a little bit smaller. It's a little too big. Because I don't need to worry about what shows through. Whoops. Every time you make a stamp, it shows. Okay, so I need to select the area I'm going to stamp from, which I'm going to click your Command key or Control key on a PC. And I selected this green area that I'm going to stamp over. So now I can kind of just come up here and stamp this in so it doesn't look too bad. Okay, so I covered this all up. Looks kind of bad. I'm going to blend it better, so I can use my blending tool, my healing brush tool. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. That's part of the problem. It's a little small. And it blends it better. Just way out here. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so that's how you would put the chug together so far. So if I have a chug, I would come back in here and fix this better. This is a good stopping point. I can show you over here that I already completed this. I went ahead and finished my chug and did a better job of cleaning up. So this one looks a little bit better. I came in and blended carefully, and I would select and use my zoom tool to make sure you get it right. Okay, the next step after that would be to combine a third animal. And for that one, I chose a fish, so we ended up with our chug fish. I repeated the same steps where I cut and paste out the areas of a goldfish. I took its little gills, flippers, or gills. I think it's flippers. I have to find out. And I copied them and put them on the little edges of my chug. So now I have a chug fish. And then the last step I did is I decided I would make this. I would play around with some of the settings. You can play with filters just to make it look better, a little more cohesive. When I say I want it to look like a unified image, if some of the colors are off or it looks a little bit funky, what you need to do is try to find a way to make it all look unified. What I did is you can play around with the different filters. I actually went into adjustments and I chose old photo because I wanted it to look like an ancient chugfish, which is what I called it. It's actually an ancient creature you may never have heard of because they all are extinct. They lived only in Hawaii a long, long time ago. So we're lucky to have a photo of it. So that's up to you. You can decide what you want to do to make it look good. When you are done, you go to File, Save, title it, turn it in, and get your credit and have fun with this project.